Hello and welcome back to the channel. Now today, as the transfer window is shut, there's no more business to be done in 2025. I thought it'd be good to look back over the year and look at the big January transfers, incomings mainly, and then the main transfers of the summer window. Now, as you can see, I've got a tier list in front of me. I've got many categories. Crazy business, there for the best deals. Okay deal, which works out for most parties. Net spend kings, they're the ones where it doesn't really look like they're going to succeed at City, but we've got a decent bit of money for them. Bit stinky, it's gone wrong somewhere. Meh. I mean, there are some transfers in this that are just like this. There's no real talking points, and terrible. So getting straight into it, January transfer, biggest transfer of the window, Omar Marmoush. Crazy business, has to be. 75 million euros. Yes, it's a big fee, but I do think it was a sensible time to buy him. If we did go for him in the summer, it would have been a lot more. 30 goal contributions over the season. Was it 15 goals in the Bundesliga, 9 assists and 7 Premier League goals. Obviously, we bought him in that kind of panic after the terrible spell that we went through. There was a lot of panic buys in January, but this was the one that paid off. He definitely drove us forward and pushed us towards those Champions League spots that were vital to get by the end of the season, and were looking like we weren't going to get them. It was a great purchase for that season and going forward. I think, yeah, a phenomenal player, and I think someone that's really going to bring something different to Manchester City going forward. Can only be crazy business. Now we go on to the next one. A bit of a difficult time, I would say. I'm actually going to put this in a bit stinky. Nico Gonzalez, obviously bought as Rodri cover, but we've had quite a lot of people try and fill that role before. We've had Calvin Phillips, Rico Lewis, Gundogan, Kovacic, Bernardo Silva's even played there, and no one's really managed to make it click. So when he came in, obviously he was very young, but there's that kind of prospect that he could be the new Rodri, and there was a lot of pressure put on him very early on by Pep Guardiola by saying he was the mini Rodri, which I think didn't help at all. He didn't have the best first half of the season at Manchester City. Obviously coming into this season, we were hoping that he would push on a little bit more. Obviously Rodri's still not fully fit, although he has come back into the fore for his first start against Brighton. He did look better, but I just think that first half of the season, the pressure that was put on him, the fact that he is a Rodri replacement and you are trying to replace a Ballon d'Or winner, it's an extremely difficult task. 60 million euros as well, one of the more expensive signings of that window. At the moment, it's a bit stinky. It could go on to be a good deal or even crazy business looking forward, but right now I can't really say anything more than a bit stinky. But somebody who definitely isn't stinky, Khusanov, my Uzbekistan diamond. I absolutely love him. 40 million euros, yes, quite high price. Semi-unknown. I think Lens got absolutely rinsed for their centre-backs last season, but he is going to be great. I can really see a good future for him at Manchester City. You could see in those games where we didn't play him, apparently it was something to do with contractually we'd have to give Lens an extra bit of money if we played him a certain amount of times within that half season. I don't know, I could be completely wrong, but we've missed that pace, that he eats up ground so much. He is so good. We saw it in the Brighton game. Every time you have that counter-attack, the really dangerous counter-attacks that always come up against City, that always are Achilles' heel, he will get to the player. He will crunch them. He has got the strength to do it. I really think that first kind of 6 minutes against Chelsea, where he looked like the worst signing ever, was a blessing in disguise. Took the pressure off him, allowed him to slowly grow into the Manchester City team. I don't even know if he spoke a word of English when he made his debut, but I really think he's one for the future. I really like him. He's got a good temperament about him. Religious, just got married. Everything is in place for him to have a really good career at Manchester City. I'm really looking forward to him. Next, Vitor Reis, or Reis, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It's tough. It's similar with Khusanov, bought him at the same time, similar ages. I think Vitor is 19 and Khusanov is 2021, I think. I see him going more into the CFG. Obviously, we've loaned him out to Perrone now, so it could be a case of see how he goes and then integrate him into the Manchester City team. Similar thing we saw with Savinho. But realistically, what do I see? I can see a couple years in La Liga doing well and then a move to, Villarreal or something like that. Try and get our money back. I don't really see it, at this point anyway, being anything more than a net spend king. So that was the January incomings, and now we move on to the meat and potatoes, the window just gone. And we start with the signing of the window, in my opinion. Tijjani Reijnders, Can only be crazy business. And as you'll see later in this video, I think we're really seeing a change in Manchester City. We need to start bringing in the kind of world's best, or people who could be the world's best in certain positions. And I think we made a statement signing with Tijjani Reijnders, especially for the fee. What is it? 55 million euros. Serie A midfielder of the year last year. He was linked to pretty much every club that needed a decent midfielder. He was the man to get, and we got him for a decent price. Obviously, you've seen how much other people have gone for in this window. So to get the business done early, to get him settled, obviously the debut was fantastic. Then kind of crashed back down to earth with a bit of reality with how kind of physical the Premier League is and how little time you do have. But this is definitely one for now and the future. I think he's going to be an absolute world beater. And as we were saying, there's a bit of a change of the guard going on. And I feel like he is the first of the new, maybe not the first, but one of the new people to take Manchester City forward. The first of the Ryans next, Rayan Aït-Nouri. Now I'm going to put him in okay deal. Now this is a bit harsh, but I'm going to put him in okay deal, not because of what he brings to Manchester City. It's because of deals done around him, let's say. We needed a left back for years, okay? We've needed a yes, Gvardio's done a good job. Ake's going to, did a good job. A certain Ukrainian did a good job. We've got a left back in. Really solid, Premier League proven, international, great going forward. One of the most creative defenders last season. It's exactly what we needed, exactly what we wanted. We got him. Great. Considering how, I'm going to say this a few times, considering how much other people have gone for this window, very good fee. The problem is we now have a right back. So it's like there's two holes in the boat, or you've plugged one and then you've made a hole on the other side. I think it's really dumb from Manchester City not to get at least one right back and one left back. And also he's going to be playing in AFCON, so we're not going to have a left back again or a right back this season at some point. So it's nothing to do with him, but it's just like Manchester City needed to do better business in both fullback areas, and I think he, as good as he is not enough for both of those positions, if that makes sense. Then on to the second, Rayan Cherki. Now, he's only, 22, made his debut at something stupid like 17, even could even be 16, but it's definitely around 17. The fact that we've got him, once again, is with all this changing of the guard, we need these kind of technical, beautiful players who will wow, get themselves out of tight spaces, have that flair, have those little flicks and can score goals. Once again, we will need to see more. Same with Reijnders. They've only just joined the squad. It's a Pep Guardiola system. It's very difficult. But when you're looking to purchase, when making such big changes in your squad, the perfect kind of person to get exactly what you should be getting, the best young talent out there, and for the fee as well. It's like 36 million euros or 37 million euros. Absolute steal for the quality of the player. Yeah, can't argue with the deal at all. Really good signing, great business. Bit more of an unknown quantity with this one. Sverre Nypan on loan to Borough now, 18-year-old Norwegian wonder kid. We do love a Norwegian. I think I'm going to put him in net spend king. I can see him doing one in the Championship. Middlesbrough, a very good team, really good at kind of elevating players and putting them on the map. They've had a good start to the season, so I can imagine that he will be a decent part of that. Yeah, it's so early on, I can't see anything City-wise towards him. We've got a lot of young players coming through. Yeah, net spending king, it's safe, it's safe. Now for the more controversial, let's say, transfer, James Trafford. Now, I kind of want to pair him with Donnarumma here, because James Trafford on his own, brilliant signing. Absolutely brilliant signing. Exactly what we should be looking to do. It should be a message to all of our youth players to say, look, if we do let go of you, which happens a lot, there's always a route back. We aren't letting go of you because you're not good enough. We're letting go of you so you can thrive. And that's exactly what James Trafford has done. He's gone to Burnley. He's had a fantastic season, setting records. And this was it. This was his time to come back. This was his time to kind of set himself as the number one at Manchester City. Obviously, it's a shame to see Ederson. I might pop Ederson in with this as a little trio. Obviously, it's a shame to see Ederson go, but James Trafford on his own would be, I'd say, okay deal. Obviously, we don't really know if he can play the Pep Guardiola style of football needed, which is very important. But I would have put him an okay deal if we didn't sign Gianluigi Donnarumma. Now, for me, it's very confusing that you would bring in somebody who you could elevate into, England's number one, Manchester City's number one, could play with his feet. Bit of an unknown quantity, but the potential is all there. and then you sign one of the world's best keepers, yes, but someone who notably can't play well with his feet. And we've seen already how having a goalkeeper, or we've been reminded anyway, what it's like to have a goalkeeper who can't quite play the Manchester City system. We've had Ederson for so long now that we don't really appreciate, and even Ortega once again was brilliant at doing this, but you need a very specific profile of goalkeeper to be able to play the Pep Guardiola way. We've seen it for years and we've got used to it for years, but we forget what it was like beforehand with Joe Hart, Claudio Bravo, and how having a keeper that wasn't quite there makes a whole big mess. And we've seen it a little bit this season. James Trafford, mistake, causes a goal, heads down. Although he has played better since, you can see that it's within 2 games we've already seen an error. So getting rid of Ederson in the first place, for me, doesn't quite make sense, considering Pep Guardiola hasn't got that many years left at Manchester City. I'm surprised he's still here, to be fair. He's never stayed anywhere long, and for some reason he's got a whole decade with us, which I'm very grateful for. But for me, it makes more sense to keep Ederson for a couple years, bed James Trafford in, then when we get a new keeper, when we just need a normal standard keeper who's brilliant, James Trafford is there. You could argue the same thing for Donnarumma. If Donnarumma was willing to wait 2 years on the bench, which he's not willing to do, it's very confusing. So I'm going to put bit stinky. They come as a pair, because individually, if I signed Donnarumma, I'd be confused, but I said brilliant. If we signed James Trafford, brilliant. But them two as a pair, it doesn't make sense to me. I think letting go of Ederson at this stage of Pep Guardiola's tenure of Manchester City, for me, doesn't make any sense. Maybe if he wanted to go, okay, I completely understand if he wants to go. There's no ill will towards him, but for me, it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to put him in terrible. I think it's just an awful decision to get rid of Ederson, because unless you're having Ortega, who's older than Ederson, as your number 1, who knows the system, then yeah, cool. Bed one of the 2 in. Try and make it work, whatever. But to get rid of Ederson, start either Trafford or Donnarumma, it's just, the whole thing's a mess, and it's all started from Ederson leaving. So I'm putting it in terrible, because we've signed 2 keepers, well, 3 keepers, and no right backs. So make it make sense. Bettinelli, meh. We've brought him in as a replacement for our beloved Scott Carson, who has left the club. Once again, meh. Sounds like a great guy behind the scenes. I love the video of him pretending that he's looking for his phone. See if Gareth Southgate's called him about the England call-up. Seems like a lovely guy to have behind the scenes. Someone who can really bring up the squad, and it's just always a nice guy to be around, a really positive person to be around. I don't know anything about Bettinelli and his personality. It could be a similar thing, but I don't understand why we're signing a keeper just to be there and be a homegrown tick. We've got another English keeper in, and then Donnarumma and no right back. It angers me a lot. Echeverri now got his debut for Manchester City in the FA Cup final when we were losing. Did look bright in the one movement I can remember from him. Net spend king. I can see it just being it's not going to quite work out at City. Get him his move. Jobs are good and everyone's happy. I don't really see much of a career at Manchester City for Echeverri. Couto, I'm going to stick him in as well, just because last season he was in this position, goes to Dortmund, has a decent season with Dortmund. They want him on a permanent 20 million euros. Very happy with that. He's happy, City are happy. Good, great for the net spend. Juma Bar, once again, going on loan to Nice. I'm going to put him in net spend king. Once again, do I see a career with him at Manchester City? I don't know. Could get a fee for him. It's one of them ones where there's so little information Man City wise to go on for him. Can't really say anything other than he might be a bit of money making. Maximo Perrone, he's gone off to Como. Very similar to all these other players. Wish him the best. There's not really much for career at Manchester City. Bit of cash in the bank. Now, a player we did sell that I'm a bit sad about, James McAtee. Now I'm going to put him in okay deal. I think for him to get out of Manchester City and not rot there, I think it's very important. Nottingham Forest is a good club at the moment. European football, things are looking good there. I was kind of touting him to go to a kind of Crystal Palace, be a main man there. Obviously, Eze's left, so I thought maybe he could kind of fill that spot. I know he hadn't actually left at the point I was saying this, but I knew Eze was going to leave. It was quite obvious. And he's a very exciting attacking midfielder, and I think he could have not filled the role of Eze, not filled the gap that he would have left, because he's a phenomenal player. But James McAtee would have given something exciting to Crystal Palace, but now he's going to give it to Nottingham Forest, and I wish him the best. decent fee. I'm glad he's not going to rot. I'm not happy that he's left because obviously I want as many academy players as possible within the Manchester City side. But it is a good deal all round, so it is an okay deal. Issa Kabore to Wrexham. Now, do you know what? I'm going to say this is an okay deal. Now, I'm going to put him in net spend king, and we're going to put him in that category. He'll be high profile at Wrexham. He's going to have a lot of eyes on him. We've got Callum Doyle over there on a permanent as well, but he didn't come up in the first team transfer marked list, so I kind of ignored him. Issa here, yeah, once again, great talent, a lot of potential there. Going to a club with eyeballs on him in the Championship, good players around him, experienced players around him. So it's a really good place for him to go. Is there a future at Manchester City? I don't know. It's really hard for these young players because you come to Manchester City, you do really well, and then we buy an Omar Marmoush, and it puts you way down the pecking order. So it's very difficult for these people to actually make it into the Manchester City team. These do look like net spend king moves. So eyeballs on him, possibly to get him moved on for a bit of cash. Now, if you can see here, the people left are concerning, I would say. You look at them and you think they are the mainstays, they are the backbone, the spine, the elder, the experience, the leadership that was once in Manchester City. You would have thought 3, maybe even 4 of these players who have moved on were in the leadership group that was there. Definitely Kyle Walker, definitely Kevin De Bruyne, and definitely Gundogan. I'm not too sure about the other 2, but you can imagine they're in there in some capacity. So when I said there's a changing of the guard, you look at the players at the top of this. Omar Marmoush, Khusanov, Reijnders, Cherki. These are the new blood. This is the new blood pushing us into the next phase of Manchester City's excellence, where the old have definitely moved on this window. And let's go through them quickly. Akanji, I'm going to put it in a bit stinky. Because if you're going to get rid of him, get rid of him. He's of the age profile now that we need. I'd rather have a little bit of cash for him now than on loan. We'll see how it goes. Do they get him this, that, the next? We're not in a PSR situation. I know we're in a FFP situation, but Manchester City have done their business quite differently over the last few years, where they've sold very sensibly quite a lot of players, 15, 20, 30, sometimes even 40 million pounds, allowing us to buy and still make profit. I think net spend wise we've done very well over the last few years, and I think it would have been nice to continue that on, especially with Akanji's age now. What we're going to sell him for now will be a lot less next year, so it's a bit frustrating in that aspect. But Inter Milan, great club, he gets a move. He's been great for us, hasn't cost us that much, so even if he does go for a low fee, it's not that much of a loss. But I just think getting him on loan instead of getting him out completely is a bit stinky. Kyle Walker. Now, he has been phenomenal for us. You have seen the decline over the past few years. I think now was the time to move before things got sour, let's say. We definitely saw the best of him, and the best of him was brilliant. Arguably one of the best Premier League right-backs of all time. Tottenham, he was fantastic. With us, he was fantastic, but it did start to decline, as I said. Moved to AC Milan, gone to Burnley, still pretty local to Manchester City. Got a little bit of fee for him, I think it's like £5 million, something like that. So decent to get a bit of money for him. He moves to a Premier League club, local to where he's been living for a while. He's probably happy with it. We're happy with it. So I'd say it's an okay deal. Kevin De Bruyne. Now this one is a sad one for Manchester City fans. He has been phenomenal for us. Genuinely put himself up there with the Gerrards, the Lampards, the Scholes. You cannot argue the impact that this man has had on the Premier League. The £50 million flop, just, yeah, he can do what he wants. Like, he left on a free. We definitely got £50 million worth out of Kevin De Bruyne. He's gone to a club that will absolutely love and adore him. Slower pace of football, which means it will stretch out his career even more. And it was the perfect time to leave. As we talked about Kyle Walker, things were starting to get sour. Kevin De Bruyne hadn't got to that stage yet, but it could have. You don't want to tarnish it. Similarly to kind of how Gundogan did. He left, came back, wasn't quite as good. And it was a bit like, why did he come back? Question marks. But Kevin's now left. He's happy. We have our memory of him. His legacy is still intact. I think it was the perfect time to leave. I would say it's an okay deal. Now, Jack Grealish is an interesting one because personally for me, I think this is a good deal. I think that Jack Grealish and Manchester City clearly isn't working. He said in his first interview or his second game, but his first interview, that he started to fall out of love with football. You could clearly see that with what he was doing off the pitch. He wasn't getting any game time. He couldn't play the way he wanted to. It didn't quite work with Pep Guardiola. They both still like each other. The mutual respect is there. He hasn't done anything to upset anyone at Manchester City. And for me, I would rather he has a great time at Everton, falls in love with the fans, they fall in love with him, he gets back to the old Jack Grealish, and he pushes on to a World Cup and getting into that World Cup squad, because at this age now, he's what, 27, 29 maybe, somewhere in that region. There's not that many World Cups left that he can attend, and especially as the quality of England player coming through over the past kind of 4 or 5 years is absolutely insane. So he will get pushed out eventually. So there's not going to be many World Cup opportunities for him. So for him to get it, do you know what? I'm going to put it in crazy business. I think this is perfect for him. Not for Manchester City. Yeah, we'll take the L. Our £100 million player didn't pay off. Enzo Fernandez is cost more than him. You know? Like, he's won a treble and 2 other Premier Leagues. He's done it. Does he need to continue and be miserable, or should he go out there and have fun and try and do something he hasn't done, which is win something with England or have a brilliant tournament with England? I would prefer that for him, you know, to see a man who is brilliant at football and can make people love football enjoy it himself. So for me, brilliant, crazy business. And for the same reason I've gone Gundogan crazy business. I love it when a player returns to his club or reveals that they supported a club when they were younger and they're finally getting to go there. I never knew he was a Gala fan when he was young, and that picture of him in the little Gala hat, it's brilliant, it's beautiful, I love it. He's linking up with Leroy Sané again. Everything about this move is beautiful. It didn't quite work, his return to Manchester City. It was a shame. I think he should have stayed away. Maybe instead of coming back here, he should have gone to Gala last year. But the fact he's going there now, he gets to leave. We're all happy with it. There's no fee. I'm not fussed at all. Yeah, I'm really happy with the fact he's gone somewhere he loves. So that was my tier list for Manchester City's transfer business in 2025. What do you think? Am I bonkers? Are some things, you know, too romantic for your liking? Let me know in the comments. Also drop a like and a subscribe if you did enjoy the video, and I'll see you on the next one.